I've got a spinny chair. No, that's quite the height of the development in the
Wow.
last 2 months. Um,
Wow.
and it provides stable back support because I'm getting old. Getting
Yeah.
old.
Platchums!
So
Well,
man, how's life?
good. Yeah. I'm just, when I started working from home, I bought a really nice chair, and it has like, it has all the fixings, lumbar support and everything. And
Nice.
anytime anyone sits in it, they're like, "Wow, this is a really nice chair."
I've
I've had it
never
for
felt
like
back
7
support like this. And I am a message from today's sponsor, Spine Doctors.
years.
um,
So yeah, all good. We are kind of coming out of maybe a dry spell, at least from my perspective. I went for like another 2 month gap in playing anything, which unfortunately there's just no two ways about it. I'm either all in on the platinums or
we're all
completely
out,
all
like,
out.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
Yeah,
um,
I was kind of the same though. Like I've mainly just been playing Fallout 76, which is a sentence that I'm still confused that I'm even saying, but it's really just the building component lured me in, goddamn base building. I got the platinum though, so I have
nice,
got the
nice,
platinum.
good.
And I'm just trying to get the 100%, so it's a bit of an annoying one because there's two trophies that you need to gain, like maximum reputation with both the factions, like the Raiders and the Settlers. But the only way to gain reputation is to do their daily quests, or you can kind of pick one side or the other during the Vault Heist quest. But that's kind of like a one-time only boost, or there's like two kind of timed events that can show up randomly. So yeah, it takes ages. I think according to the guide, it's like you need to do 54 days of these daily quests or something in order to get like max reputation. Now you do unlock other things that you can buy from their respective vendors with like reputation gains, but still awful trophies. You know, I but I will get it. I am particularly fond of the game. I don't know how I feel about it potentially becoming my most played though on PlayStation, because at the moment it's Red Dead 2, and I feel like that's such a masterpiece of a game that I feel kind of dirty having Fallout 76 usurp it. But no, look, I've enjoyed my time with it. It's definitely winding down though. It was a good kind of fun game to play with friends, and it kind of scratched that Fallout itch once I kind of got into it. Um, so that's what I've mainly been playing, but I have been slowly coming back in because much like yourself, I just other things going on, and then not no game really jumping out at me. And Fallout was like kind of some like thief just junk food kind of game where you sit down for an hour at night, once you've done all the shite that you have to do in this life, and you just kind of go, ah, and you kind of just sit there and go, I don't really think these carpets go with the floor. That's pretty much been my experience with it. So I've been playing that. I went back and got the 100% in Alan Wake 2.
Nice.
Uh, Fantastic DLC, in fairness. And Alan Wake 2 is definitely my favorite game of this current generation
Oh,
by quite a landslide.
I
Um,
still haven't played it, so I certainly feel like that's a big blind spot for me so far. But
it's like picture the UI of like The Last of Us, which is in fairness just default UI for every game now. A little bit of
sure.
Silent Hill, a little bit of Resi, like old school Resi, and just its own kind of creative, demented flavor. Like in terms of just visual fidelity, is it a kind of game that mechanically could have been released in earlier generations? Yes, it is. I don't think it's breaking any kind of boundaries, like the instantaneous loading of Spider-Man 2 or something. But it's just the visual fidelity and just like the it's just seeping with creativity. It's just dripping with it. Like no game feels like it just has so much personality, and it was the one game that I'm thinking like that was a real defining moment of this generation playing that game. Much like PS4, it would have been like The Witcher, or on on PS3, GTA 5, GTA 4. It's just like for me, it's one of those games where it's like, oh, so that's why I got this console, because the PS5 hasn't given me many reasons to get the console. So
Sure.
I'd recommend that. And then I started going back and getting the DLC trophies for Astro's Playroom, which again remains one of the main or primary memories of the PS5 for me. A free,
Same.
essentially proof of concept
I
demo.
was thinking the exact same thing when I went back and I got those two trophies. I was just like, it hit me with this wave of nostalgia, and it's crazy to have nostalgia for a PS5 game already, but the music in that game and just how much fun it is, and
And
like I've
the promise of what was to come.
yes, yeah, with the adaptive triggers and everything, and
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
I've played through that game probably like probably 30, 40 times because I play it with my kids and they love repeating the levels.
Yeah,
Um,
I replayed
so
it myself in order to, because you need to beat the T-Rex, the PS1 T-Rex, and see
sure,
the end credits before these DLC characters show up. And because I haven't had PlayStation Plus for, I would say, the guts of 7, 8 months at this point,
yeah,
I couldn't access my save file, which
okay.
was on the cloud.
Yeah,
I don't really remember like going in and deleting save files on my PS5. So I don't know what happened there. I don't really delete save files because you know a, even a 50 meg save file, which would have been a death roar for a PS2 memory card with 8 megabytes of storage. I don't really consider save file storage size anymore. So I don't know where it went,
sure.
but essentially the 100% everything finished save file was locked behind a paywall up in the fucking sky somewhere. So I'm just like, oh, okay, like I'll just replay it. And I just tore through it in like kind of 2 sittings. Um and it's quite an interesting DLC trophy list. I feel like that's something I haven't seen before, where it's leading up, adding trophies. One becomes unlockable every month in the run up to like Astrobot's release, like this fully fledged big game version, which unironically I'm actually kind of looking forward to because Astro's Playroom is so great. But yeah, that, like, what are your thoughts on that kind of a trophy list? It kind of like it's teasing, isn't it? That like, oh, the trophy's there, but you just gotta wait.
Yeah, yeah, I like it a lot, and I like how they're kind of puzzle trophies, and they're not free. Obviously, if you look up a guide, you get them instantly, but they have little quirky bits to them, so they're not even straightforward once you load up the game. Um, I I'm like the new game is probably my most anticipated game for the rest of the year, so I'm really buzzing for it. So
Mhm.
um,
Yeah, no, the
yeah, I
puzzles
don't know.
were
There's
funny. Yeah, like I'm just thinking of the first one with the Bloodborne character,
yeah.
where you need to like put in like the date. I wouldn't have thought Old Hunters DLC. I would have been like, do you remember Bedazzled when he's typing in the code when he's the basketball player? It's like, I just kept like typing in like the release date for the
It's
original,
a
and then I
it's a
looked.
very retro reference, and
I
Brendan
know, I know.
Fraser.
Shout out to Bedazzled. Those
Yeah.
the
I
hottest
love
movie of what, 1999 being
yeah.
referenced. There we go.
I have good memories of that movie, getting it on like VHS.
I
Yeah.
just for some reason the term it's a cocaine is just burnt in my mind. Oh, Mises Stablos.
Oh, Mrs. Stavros!
Anyway, we'll stop talking about random Brendan Fraser movies.
It's a Renaissance still, I think, isn't it?
I think it's like that's already passed.
I think so, yeah.
He's just
I was
back. He's just
hopefully
back.
he capitalized on it
But
and
we
he's got a
better
few
stop.
movies.
I can see the statistics of the Gen Z viewers slowly
Yeah.
dipping, and
Um
now it's got off a cliff. But yeah, so that is essentially what I've been playing. I think it's why we've been pretty quiet on the channel. I feel like our whole mantra is, if we don't really have anything to say, sure, we'll say nothing.
yeah.
Like, just no point just talking shy for the sake of it. Even though that's kind of what we're doing right now. But you get my point.
Sure. I like looking back at my list, I'm not even sure what we talked about last. This year has been fairly quiet for me. I haven't gone through a load of stuff. Um, Balatro was obviously my most played game this year. And then I got like a few other kind of, smaller plats. I really liked Animal Well. I thought that
Hmm.
was super cool. I love that kind of puzzle. Metroid Brainia, I think is the term that
Metroid
some people,
Brainia. That's a
yeah,
term.
some people some people are pulling that one up. I went back and did the DLC for a few games. I did Remnant 2, the 2D DLC packs that are available. I did Cult of the Lamb just last week,
Nice.
which probably is one of the worst DLC types ever, where
What's that?
um, it makes you go back and do everything again. So it's like, oh, actually finish the entire game again and then work on like loads of little threads that you have to put loads of time into. So
Yeah.
it's it over doubled my time in the game, basically trying to get all the rest of it.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
like I probably like Cult of the Lamb more than most people, so I was kind of willing to stick with it. But
But you recognize the shittiness of that trophy list
yeah,
DLC
the,
for
the
yeah, yeah.
DLC was bad.
Hmm.
And yeah, I played Dredge finally because that was on PS Plus Extra, which was great fun. Although it's only my second favorite fishing game this year because Dave
So
the
it was a
Diver.
great year for
Yeah.
fishing games, so it was.
It
My
seems to
God.
have been, yeah. So Dave the Diver still reigns supreme. I preferred that one than Dredge, but Dredge was really good too.
I've heard good things
And
about Dave the Diver.
it's really good. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got a better kind of balance. Um, I was a little bit annoyed at the inventory space element of Dredge because I always, had a fish and then I had to, just go back home with my fish and I'd never felt like I had enough fish and yeah, it was a whole
So I'm
a whole
guessing
thing.
the main premise is
Um,
fishing. No,
Fishing, yeah.
no. If I get into the world of the of fishing games, that's pure hype at the moment. I'll probably go for Dave the Diver. I think if I'm
Do.
looking for
Yeah.
a little indie morsel,
Yeah.
I'll go for that.
And then the only other big game that I've played and finished was The Outer Worlds,
Hmm.
which you kind of had recommended that I finally go and do. It's clearly the lesser of the outer games for me, with the Outer Wilds or Outer Wilds being
Hmm.
one of my favorite games of all time. So this one, like I
That's a
have a bit
hard
of a
benchmark to reach, though.
it
Like,
is, yeah. It's a tough it never stood a chance, the Outer Worlds, because I knew I would always compare it to that. But
I love
like
that they're so different, but it's just because their
very
names are
well,
just
they're both in
different.
space as well, and you fly around in the spaceship,
True.
first person, so there's more similarities than
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 just, yeah,
just the name. But
anagram
um
possibilities.
like in terms of it being like you know, like a Fallout New Vegas kind of clone-esque. That's the game that kept jumping out to me when I was playing it, and like I'm a big New Vegas fan, so that was a very favorable comparison. I thought the characters were very funny, the companions. I kind of felt like I probably nearly didn't get enough out of the companions because there were so many of them and I didn't use them all.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
any
yeah.
of the ones that I did use, I thought they were funny.
It felt like the best Firefly game. Again, another
Yeah,
reference,
that's
just that's
another
archaic as
90s.
shit. And yeah, yeah. God, I'm on
Yeah.
fire today with the outdated references. But yeah, it felt like just even
Was
the
Firefly 90s? I can't remember, or
like
was it
2002, I
2000?
think.
Yeah, or
Yeah. And it was
early
cancelled
2000s.
by 2002.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, even the ship design, was very reminiscent of the one in Firefly, and just like the whole
Yeah.
aesthetic and kind of tone of it. For me, it was like the best 7.5 out of 10 game I've played.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I would have probably had it at least at an 8, I think.
I
Um,
think there's a great game in there, and I thought the
yeah.
story was great, particularly the fly into the sun ending. I miss when games just had fun. Like I just love the
Yeah.
dialogue choices when you make your character thick as fuck, and he's like,
Yeah.
"No, I got this here."
Yeah.
But it was more just, it's like the bare bones of something amazing. Like
Sure.
if or when a sequel comes out, I feel like it's such a strong foundation to build
Yeah.
upon, like the tone and just the whole like having your ship as like a hub area. I just always love like the Normandy and Mass Effect, and
Yeah.
seeing
Yeah.
changes as the story progresses. I love all that. I even really like the art design, but it's very small. It was very
Yeah.
bare bones gameplay, and I think that's why I would refrain from rating it higher. But it's like an
Sure.
amazing proof of concept for a
Hmm.
sequel. Like
Yeah.
that's
I think that's fair.
that's kind of
I
where I landed on it.
Yeah, I think that that's a very valid criticism. My my one gripe with the low intelligence playthrough was that I didn't feel like there was enough low intelligence. Like the ones that were there were very funny, but like that you would say something extremely intelligent that was like one of the mandatory, or one of the selections, and
Hmm.
then the next one would be really stupid. So the characters seem to be very kind of erratic in their
All the characters
intelligence.
came like, I
You
just
know?
don't understand them.
Yeah. But yeah, no, there was a lot to like in that game. And I'm glad I played it. And I actually thought the DLC was really good.
DLC was
The
excellent, yeah.
the Gorgon one was like it was okay. It was kind of more just like more of the same. But
Hmm.
the one with the hotel, like, I forget the name now.
Murder
The
on Idranus.
Eridanos, or yeah, that one. Yeah, I thought that that was a lot more fun because I liked the investigative
The
side. I
the the
liked
murder
that you had,
mystery, yeah,
yeah, I thought that that was much cooler because I liked how you could kind of try and pin it on anyone, and
yeah,
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 it
yeah.
was
No, that
cool.
that was really look. I feel like I just love and respect the game. Let me
Yes,
let
yeah,
um mm, and just that kind of harken back to those really like true RPG narrative games where you can really just there's a multitude of possibilities and that you can just you know pick and choose, as you said, just for like a murder mystery, just so it was him, damn it.
yeah,
Instead of being
yeah.
very locked in. I guess that's why it had to be very contained and small in order
Hmm.
to allow that sort of narrative depth. So I understand that facet of it, but I would love just to see a well financially backed sequel that can build on that and just transplant more gameplay mechanics and features and maybe even ship customization, just kind of quality of life things.
Sure,
Um,
yeah,
but that's kind
yeah.
of yeah.
I certainly I do feel now that I want to play Mass Effect again because
Yeah.
I don't know why I just have a bit of an itch for Mass Effect.
Have you played the Legendary Edition? You could
No, and
get
I
all
was
three
trying to
plats again.
see. I was actually I asked him about this last week because I was wondering, could I just do Mass Effect 1 and not get that additional trophy pack on?
No,
Because
the trophy pack loads on irrespective.
yeah, I think
Like the
someone said
separate
that
kind
there's
of
a
list
way of
that's
delete,
cumulative.
yeah,
Well, I
cheat from.
guess you'd need to avoid. I'm sure you could delete it
That's
theoretically
what
because you can delete
Pete
any
was saying.
zero
Yeah,
percentage. You just need to avoid unlocking, trophies. But that list, I believe, is across all three games,
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
accumulatively. So I doubt that you'd reach like certain kill counts, or I think it's like to beat them on an insanity difficulty. Like I
Yeah.
haven't looked at that trophy list in years, but I think those are the ones that are contained in that sort of separate list across all three. You can
Yeah,
risk it for a biscuit, man. Have
I'm
you
not sure. Do I
platinum
want
Mass
to?
Effect 1?
No, I have it on Steam,
Oh,
and that's where I played it. But so I've never played one on the
I
PlayStation. So
played it on PS3.
and
Um,
I think I know two gets a lot of love, but I love one because it was more. It felt more like BioWare to me. It was like the old kind of
and
Knights of the Old
there's
Republic
something about
and
the
the
atmosphere
Empire.
and pace and patience and world building of the first game that
Yeah, yeah,
not that it was missing, but from the subsequent games, but it definitely felt like I loved how much of the Citadel was explorable, and I even liked the Mako. I I I I thought it was kind of cool that you could go on so many different surfaces, and I love the shit handling. It was gammy in the best way possible, where
yeah.
you hit a tiny rock and it just does like 800 somersaults. Um,
Yeah, yeah. Like
so no,
two definitely has like a better cast overall because there's so much more to the casting too. But
Well,
yeah, I feel
I played two first.
okay. Yeah.
And that was again one of the defining moments on the PS3 for me because I did
It
remember
was
they attached the comic book
yeah
in to replace the first game because at that moment it wasn't on PlayStation, it was only on Xbox, so you can make all the choices that carry through into the second game in this little comic book. Definitely not the same experience. I don't think it can replace the first game, but I just remember that opening blew me away.
yeah
Like when the normally gets attacked, I'm like, holy shit, okay, this is gonna be good. And I hadn't played a
yeah.
game like it. I don't think I've really played a game like it since. It's very, very distinctive just in its mechanics and atmosphere and stuff.
Sure. Yeah, no, it is. It's a yeah, I feel like I have a Mass Effect itch that needs to be scratched.
Well,
So
there's three more
um
plats there, or just get the first game.
we just get the first one. So I'll see. But I have a big project underway, which is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I feel like I have too much to say about it for this video. I feel like we should probably just have a separate video for that because
Sure, we'll record a
um
separate one while we're here.
yeah, yeah. So, but suffice to say, I'm enjoying it, but to be continued. Um,
But
so
oh
yeah, no,
my god, the
it's
people
been
can't wait. They're shaking with excitement.
it's been a quiet year. How many plats have I this year? I think I have like
Oh,
something
okay,
like
what is a quiet year
uh,
for you then?
one,
That's
two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12. 12 this year.
12. Okay, let's
And
see.
the first I got was in April, the end of April. So I had a big gap. So 12 this year so far, which is yeah, like that would be I'm way slower than usual at least.
But you've gotten 12 plats and like
Yeah,
how many have I got? Oh, this is gonna take a while to scroll down. One, two, three, four. Four. Well, I'm
four.
gonna count five because I got the Metal Gear Solid 1 Platinum on December 30th. That
But yeah,
we'll
I'll
throw
give
that
that
on
to
the we'll throw that on the pile.
you.
And those
Christmas is
five,
the real end of the year, in fairness.
yeah. So Metal Gear, Cyberpunk, Jedi Survivor, Alan Wake 2, and Fallout 76. I
They're
do
all
think
big games though. Like they're big, chunky
Cyberpunk
games.
was
Yeah.
big. Jedi Survivor kind of open world kind of stuff. Like it was quite a long game as well, but I actually enjoyed it quite a lot.
That
And
is that's a game that's just like resisting going on sale or going to a price point that I'm happy with for it.
I've said
Um,
it all. It's the best €20 you'll ever spend
yeah.
when it
Once
costs
it's
20.
20 quid, I will be happy with that game,
Like
definitely.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, it just reminds me like a double A game in terms of just kind of quirkiness and just the fact that they threw so much that you can just do so much within the game, but with a triple A budget.
Yeah.
If those two things could be kind of married in your mind when you go
Yeah.
in with it.
It's
And
it's funny because
Fallout's
I'm like a huge Star Wars apologist, really, when you think about it, because like I'm just finished the Acolyte and I really enjoyed it, and everyone else hates it. So I know I'm gonna enjoy Jedi Survivor
no,
once I
Jedi
play it.
Survivor. Like I haven't watched the Alkalite. I kind of after Obi-Wan, the show, I just sort of
Obi-Wan was bad. Yeah, I'll agree with you.
I just checked the fuck out. There was something about
Yeah,
like when he confronts Vader and they're having this tense stare off and he just runs away. I don't
yeah.
know why. It's like don't write your characters if you can't write a good exit strategy or some kind of logical continuation. Don't write your characters into a corner like that where all you can say is
Sure.
he could run away. It just
Yeah.
there's something about that. I don't know
I
that whole show.
I'm not big into like the Star Wars. Like I feel like I know my stuff generally, but what I couldn't wrap my head around was how does he not realize that he's on Tatooine after this whole thing anymore? Like it would be very hard for Obi-Wan to hide, um,
It's
like
it's it's
from Vader after all this stuff.
it's getting to the
I don't know.
point they're retroactively making the originals worse.
Yeah, I think
And
that was a complaint a lot of people had, definitely.
yeah, like I won't go into it because at this point I just don't really care anymore.
Sure. Yeah.
Um,
But I brought that up not to cause any Star Wars drama, but just to say that I will enjoy Jedi Survivor
when it
when
costs
I play
20
it.
euro. In
When it
fairness,
costs
the fact
20.
that it's like you're an apologist, but you're also, financially, cute. Like you
Yeah,
love it
well,
to the point of, oh, it's going to be brilliant when it costs 20 euro. So you
yeah.
have your limits. You're not that much of an apologist.
But that's how much I enjoyed Fallen Order. So I know I can, use the same rationale there.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, no.
so
Yeah,
yeah.
we'll
But
see. I'll probably go
other than
back
that,
to go on.
I just wanted to say that I have had a successful year so far in terms of my completion percentage, which is up at 94.26. So I think the
Ooh,
95% is doable.
let's
Um,
see. I don't think
that's
you've ever been that high before.
No, I've never ever been at that high. Like 90 was my goal a few years ago. So if I can get it to 95, like I'll be, somewhere I never thought
Average
I'd be.
average
Um,
rarity is well under 40 now as well. 38.85.
yeah, so
It's
it's
if this was the
going in the
Olympics, you
right
get a
direction.
cap.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, what's mine at my completions 99.39.
That's
Um,
considerably better than mine, but yeah.
but your
Um,
list is considerably better. What's it? And 37.88. So it's actually there's only like a percentage in terms of our average rarity, which that's drastically gone down on your end.
yeah, I've gotten that down quite a bit, but not really by trying. I think generally, as you clean up games, the average rarity just goes down because you're getting more of the harder trophies on your list, and you're
Hmm.
getting more DLC, and DLC is always inherently more rare
Yeah, yeah.
than the baseless stuff. So um, and naturally just working towards completion is helping the average rarity thing to go down. But like I feel like sometimes I get caught in a trap where I'll see a game and I'll avoid it because the average rarity is like way too high. And I feel like
I haven't gone down that route yet.
games these days have like just naturally higher average rarity for whatever reason. Like I was looking at like, Ghost Runner 2 is up at like 30 something percent or 25%, and Blasphemous 2 is up at 30 or 40%. Like these are games that should be more in the kind of the 15% bracket, not up at 30%. So I'm not sure why that is, but it seems to be it seems maybe like average rarity is just creeping up a little bit, going into the 40s is kind of more of a
I'd
natural
say it's probably a
place.
mix of I think lists becoming a bit easier. I think the amount of resources available online for trophy hunters has increased exponentially in the last
Yeah.
5 years, and I think just more people are doing it.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, but like I've never really paid much heed. Like the average rarities stat, I've never put any stock in. I'll be going back to Plague Tale Requiem, which is like I have it here 33%. Don't really care about that. It's more about the game for me. I kind of
Sure.
just wasn't in the mood for it. But I'll go back to it, and I think that's the only other game on my list that I'll be going back to. Like, what's not 100 Astros Playroom, Folly 76, Plague Tale, even within FIFA 10, I can't get anyway. So it's once I finish Astros, another month Fallout, and Plague Tale, I'll be starting Psychonauts 2, and that's like a 58%
Yeah.
rarity or
But like
something. But I
even
like
even that
Psychonauts.
game shouldn't be up that high, because there's a lot to do in that game. So
I think
it
there's
is just
cheats
oh,
available though
okay.
on it. I think that can explain that one,
Makes
or
sense. I guess
invincibility.
that's true for a lot of games these days. There's a lot of
Accessibility
accessibility
modes
stuff.
could be
Yeah.
the rise of accessibility modes. I don't know.
Certainly like a part of it has to be, yeah.
Spread your theory, guys. What do you think is
Yeah,
causing
but no,
this?
I will say like I won't, if a game is good and I want to play it, I'm not going to stop if average rarity is high. But I just mean sometimes I'll look through some lists and I'll see like a game and it will require like a lot of work, and then it's like a 40% plat. I'm like,
Yeah,
you
no,
know.
I see where you come from because yeah, I mean, if you've worked to get that stat up, the last thing
Yeah.
you want is to see it kind of start to,
Yeah.
go up and like over 40.
Like
I
with
feel like once you
Spider-Man
get it,
2.
yeah, once you get it under 40, I think there's a lot of wiggle room. I think the lowest I had it was like 36 or something.
Yeah, that's very low.
And then it was back up kind of like 39, 38. I don't think I've gone above like 38 and a half. Again, I don't really know, but it's kind of just stagnant or stationary at that point.
The funniest stat on my trophy list that I've noted recently is that Spider-Man 2 at 97% is rated a B on PSNB because so many people have the plat, and I guess a lot of people got the DLC New Game Plus with the glitch when that debug menu was out.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
unfortunately missed the boat with that one because I didn't have it installed on the PlayStation at that point. But yeah, I must go back. I don't know. I'm sure there's DLC probably
I'd
around the
say
corner.
it'll be out soon, I'd
I
say.
think I saw something on Twitter. I think it said that they're not working on any, so maybe there is none at all. I might be misremembering that, but it does feel like they probably should have had something out at this point already.
Yeah, no, and I think if there is, and if I don't get it included after spending a small fucking fortune on this right here, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna create a rant video. Dear Insomniac, you bunch of stealing fuckers. Even
Yeah.
though it was my own adult decision to, spend
I
money
know
on
it's
this,
worth it. It looks
but
cool. It's
it
very
looks
cool.
cool. But yeah, it's sitting there just appreciating in value. It was a terrible investment. But yeah, look, thanks for watching, guys. Let us know what you've been playing. I'm gonna continue to swivel here. And sure. Will we do a high five? I haven't done a high five in a while. We'll do it. I'll go up, I'll just
From
cover all
space.
bases. I'll make it look seamless in the edit.
Platchums